Welcome back to another episode of Oxygen Not Included, everybody. We have quite a few things to check out today as we get started. First of all, I'm going to show the research area I built. It's just the same setup we had before with the rad bolts. This is disabled when we don't need any more rad bolts in the research terminal. And I have a gap here so that none of our duplicates will run through into the thing. I think that they may actually stand up here periodically. I'm not too fussed about it. If somebody gets hit with a rad bolt, then I'll deal with it. But we did also set up a virtual planetarium for the orange research. So that uses data banks. I think we may have run out of those by now. If not, we're getting pretty close, I think. This is the research we're currently working on. I wanted to try to get to the drill cone before we stop the research for now. We're going to have to build a rocket to send up a orbital data collection lab in order to create more data banks for us to do more research there. So that's our next project once we get everything up and running. In order to do a long stint in space, we're working on getting berry sludge set up. So I set up a little bristle blossom farm. Should check to make sure I have bristle berries turned off so nobody eats those. I don't think anybody would, since I have a barbecue and they always eat the highest quality food. But I did turn off making a bristleberry, so that's fine. And then we are also set up a little sleet wheat farm, but the sleet wheat farm, we need to get it very cold. Right now it's still pretty hot. I have a cooling loop coming from down here where I'm working on cooling it off down to 0 degrees. So that's looping down here with some oil. The oil started off at like 80 degrees because it's oil I brought up from down in the oil biome. So it's cooling down pretty quick, but it's going to take a while. But once we get this down to 0 degrees in here, sleet wheat will start growing. Bristle berry sludge is made from the bristle berries and sleet wheat in here. So we already have some sleet wheat. We're just waiting on the bristle berries to grow. So it shouldn't take too long to get a decent amount of berry sludge. We already have 28,000 calories because they each have 4,000. So honestly, that's as much as I need. So the next project that we're going to work on is getting our rocket set up for a long-term stint in space. So basically what we're going to do is in this Spacefarer module, we're going to have to rebuild things around so that Ari or whoever else I send up here will have everything they need in order to stay in this rocket for a long period of time so that they can do the research in using the orbital data collection lab. So I just have to figure out exactly how I'm going to put everything in here to get everything set up, how I want to handle it, and we'll go from there. But that's going to take just a little bit of time for me to figure out how I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that off camera, and then once I get it built, we'll come back and we'll get ready to do a mission into space. We'll probably just send him up into orbit, let him orbit around the asteroid for a while until we get enough research to do the rest of the research. And then I'm going to work on building another rocket with a drill cone to go out and collect some things, and a rocket with an artifact module so I can pick up the artifacts at these different places. Some exciting stuff coming down the line, but it's going to take a little while to get set up. So we'll be back with that in just a little while. I've gotten a few things changed around with our rocket. So I added in a wall toilet, and I have this long series of pipes that is just going to hold water because then I don't have to have any space for a liquid reservoir. Should give us plenty of water for our duplicate to be able to use the bathroom while they're in space for quite a while. I added hand sanitizer in front of it, so it takes up the least amount of space and still allows them to stay clean. I added in a storage bin for plastic for the orbital data collection lab. Added in a telescope. We can run both of those while we're up in space. I moved the control station up top just to give me more space because I may want to add some more stuff. As far as keeping oxygen inside of here, I have an oxygen diffuser and a full storage bin of algae in order for us to run that. Refrigerator is filled up with 50,000 calories of berry sludge, which won't go off. And then this here is just set up so that I have a way to turn on a gas pump to pull out the carbon dioxide when the rocket lands later. I switched out our pilot to Demon Lord because Demon Lord has this research I need in order to operate all the things in here. So he's our new pilot for in here, which means we have fuel in the rocket. We only have 61 kilograms of steam, so I think I need to up that real quick. So let me connect. To do that, we need to connect this, and then we need to connect power to this. I think maybe I just need to add a little more water into here to get some steam production going in order to get that turned back on. This is saying if it's below 6 degrees. So I guess I just don't have enough heat in here for it to do much of anything. Is this not connected? Why is this giving me a no power? Let's see. Oops, it's not getting any power from the grid. That's okay. I'm just going to set this automation here to pump this out at 105 degrees so that I can get some steam moving into the rocket. Hopefully that won't be too cool and cause any problems with my pipes. Let's find out. It's actually cooling off. How do I want to get heat into here? Oh, I can just reconnect it back up. That's why it's not making any more steam, because I disconnected it from the heat source down in the carbon dioxide. Now, it took me a minute, but I got I'll turn this back down to 0 because we have enough water in there now. As soon as this brings up enough heat from below, it'll kick this on, and we'll get a little more steam production going on. So I can set this back up to 1. This one is set at 125. This one we set at 150. I think that's how we had it set up. How much steam we have in there? 77. It would actually be enough for what we need, but I want to get it full. The steam will heat up pretty quick. Okay, so let me just double check everything else in the rocket while we're waiting. So we have demons in here. You can take your suit off, buddy. This we want to turn off, because I don't want to be pumping my oxygen back in. We have a ton of oxygen, so This won't kick on for quite a while. But once we go into space, these both should work if I understand correctly. I think I'm going to put in... No, I'm not going to worry about it. I'm not worried about putting in a bed or a mess table. Demon may get stressed out while we're up here, but this is just a test run to make sure everything's working. So I'm not going to worry about it right now. We'll design that a little better later. Let's check the steam. That'll be plenty for now. I just want to get this working again. So let's put this. I'm going to put down here to let that steam back out, and then clip it again right here. And then let's do a clip of our power. So we're not pumping any more steam. Okay, we don't have any steam in the rocket. We're ready to launch the rocket. So we have set our destination just to go into orbit around the asteroid. So all we need to do is everything is all set. Begin our launch sequence. Oh, I forgot to pull back our gantry, so it got damaged. Alright, so Demon's already hopping to making our data banks, which is great. That's what we wanted. So we're going to keep an eye on this and make sure that he's staying okay, but he's going to stay in orbit as long as we can, because we can bring him right back down. So we mostly just need to worry about whether or not we have oxygen going, but we have plenty of ability to make oxygen. We got plenty of days worth of food, and it's food that won't spoil. And he has the ability to go to the bathroom. Probably should have put it in bed. I wonder if I can still do that while we're up here. Now that he's up here, maybe I have the materials for it. Just to make his life a little better. Let's set a higher priority on these and see if I have the materials in the rocket. So this wall toilet's pretty neat. It just takes the water and it uses it, and then it gets ejected out into space. Polluted water that comes from it. So we did. So at least now he'll have a place to sleep while he's working up here. He won't have any room bonuses, so his stress may go up. In fact, probably already is. Yeah, he's already 20%. So we'll keep an eye on it, make sure he doesn't get too high, but we're not going to keep him up there long. So I go back down here. I think the next thing we want to work on is finishing up our researches so that we can do this drill cone, so we can do that, and also doing the rest of the researches. One of the last colony achievements that we need. Oops, clicked on the wrong button there. Let's bring up our achievement screen, take a look at it. One of the last ones we need to get is finishing all the research. That's this next one. Critter Whisperer, we still need to get a few, but we'll have to go somewhere where we can get the gassy moo. But I can work on doing the Paku while we wait on that. Nature reserves is something we're going to do on the second colony. This is also a gassy moo. We need to reduce the temperature of a building, which means we need to get fluid that can go that cold, which is something we'll have to get from space. A transit tube system is something we need to build soon. And then as far as this goes, we need to build a few more rooms to build. This one would be pretty easy to knock out. Maybe the next thing we work on. Block a meteor with a bunker door. I have a lot of bunker doors installed. I don't know exactly what triggers the meteor storms, if they just happen when they happen or what, but robot teleporters. These are all spaced out ones, which means these are all ones that are designed to be done on other planets. So I don't know if we'll get to all the DLC achievements. We probably will. I may do it later after we finish the series, though. But our main objective is just to finish all the regular achievements. So we don't have too many more to go. But some of them are going to take a good bit of time. So we'll keep working away on them. So I'm going to check out on Demon here, and then we'll come back once we're ready to bring him back down to the planet's surface. He's already made 11 data banks. How many exactly do we need for this? Let's see. Oh, I don't think this is going to show me. This is just going to show me for the local colony, which is inside the thing. So we have 12 units in here. If I go back to our main colony, we've already used up all of our data banks. So we definitely needed to get more so we can continue our research. But I think we're going to keep going for quite a while here. Let him do his thing. We'll just keep an eye on him, make sure his stress doesn't get too high, and then we'll bring him down when we get to the point where we have to do that. So I'll come back once we have research done and we're bringing him back down to the asteroid surface. Brought the rocket back in for a landing. Demon's stress was all the way up to 76%. Definitely need to work out how to keep his stress down while we're in space. But while we were up there, we got quite a bit of research finished. Let's bring that up just so we can see. I think we need to be on this screen. Data banks. They might have already been taken down to do the research already. So, but when I last checked, we had about 70 of them. So we got quite a bit done while we were up there. We'll work out a better way to do that interior before the next time, so that we can have Demon or another astronaut up for an extended period of time and actually explore some more of the star map, which is another goal we have. I do also want to get the drill cone finished so that we can start to collect some of these things like we were talking about. But that'll all have to happen in the next episode. We're getting pretty close to our time here. I am having some issues with power because I'm just definitely drawing way too much power for the petroleum that we can provide for our generators. So we're going full bore and we're still having brownouts every once in a while. So I do think the next thing I want to work on, and I just finished emptying this out, is working on building a new petroleum boiler that uses a heat spike to add in a second source of petroleum for us. So I think in the next episode we're going to take a break from the space research, and we're going to work on building the heat spike down into the magma pocket down here so that we can create a petroleum boiler down here so we can start pumping out a second line of petroleum to go to our generators. We also are going to want more petroleum in the future so that we can run petroleum rockets. So it's worth getting done. So that's what we'll work on in the next episode. We'll get that done, and then we'll go back to designing better rockets so we can do long-term space flight missions. But hope you enjoyed watching it, and if you have anything you'd particularly like to see, just leave me a comment and let me know. Hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. It helps me out. So I'll see you in the next episode. Bye-bye.